Paper Mario for the Nintendo 64 is one of those video games, and one of those works of art in general, that strikes me personally in a unique, extremely deep way. The story is far from intricate, but it exceeds in what it intends to do, and the mosaic and merger of all of the narrative elements gives it this quality that renders it evergreen and everlastingly infectious. Although this is admittedly a quality that may apply exclusively to me, I think that Paper Mario is a special piece of media, put together with tons of passion and care. And overall, the whole package is quite thought-provoking. Not because of complexity, but because it captures the imagination in an abstract way that transcends beyond the simple window dressing. Paper Mario is great on a technical level. It has a simple but smooth and very on-the-rails combat system. It has charming and stylized visuals that have aged well despite the low resolution, a sort of mix between a pop-up book and a stage play theme that give the entire thing a cutesy and theatrical charm. There's sharp dialogue throughout, witty and immersive, giving elaborate insight into the setting and revealing little world-building tidbits while also being clever and efficient. The setting is simple, but it's vibrant and deceptively deep, each chapter covering a new and separate area with its own contextual lore, with world-building fitting within itself and the universe as a whole. Grassy plains, a mountain range and desert, a haunted forest and gulch, a literal toy box, a tropical island, a valley of endless flowers, a mystical, frozen land in the north. The variation from chapter to chapter always keeps things fresh and vibrant, while maintaining the same feel to prevent inconsistency. The sum of this game's parts is awesome, and on their own they help key us into why this is a classic. But for me, the appeal of Paper Mario, why it's one of the most important games of all time to me, is something beyond all that. Something that's really difficult to put into words. I think that this piece of work has a sort of transcendent, spiritual aura to it, an innate understanding of how to evoke feelings that it communicates through its presentation. It's got this timeless, ageless, and all-encompassing appeal that inspires and provokes the imagination to a much greater extent than one would think. It's not quite that it's deeper than the charming cartoon characters and the simple plot it contains. It's that this depth is baked into the very essence and spirit of the work. And the way I think Paper Mario does this is through a mix of music, visuals, atmosphere, theming, and plot context. The story is one that is centered in the cosmos, in the stars, and not just through the Peach interludes that often focus on the princess's struggles in the midst of an eternal, starry night. In this game, you don't just save the princess. You return harmony to the kingdom and reinstate the ability for wishes to be granted, restoring the natural order. And in doing this, Mario makes it so that young residents of the Mushroom Kingdom can wish and hope for a prosperous future, and have someone listen to them as they pursue their dreams. These star spirits don't grant selfish success to these people, but they provide hope and wonder and a sense of something beyond the world that they know, something beyond what seems possible. And that's a very profound sort of idea that the game constantly immerses itself in. The soundtrack composed by Yuka Sugiyoko is one of great variety, having to capture the feeling of various tones, cultures, and environments that Mario experiences. But there are a great number of themes throughout, ones that we'll be playing during this video actually, that tap into this sort of solemn spirituality, a quiet nature to them that really brings this feeling home and accentuates it. Shooting Star Summit in particular is a location that we visit multiple times for a variety of reasons, and as such, I see it as a sort of thematic and spiritual anchor for the story, constantly bringing forth this aura. Past the northern border of Toad Town, this summit is a sort of bridge between the stars and endless sky and the Earth. It's a magical, atmospheric place that constantly reminds the player that what they aim for is something grand and meaningful. And the deep blue and purple palette, the shooting stars, the subtle and wondrous theme, it's all a very evocative feeling brought forth that can't quite be put into words, but it's an encapsulation of this aura that I speak about. Yet as powerful as Shooting Star Summit and the Peach segments are, they aren't actually the parts of the game that take this the full 9 yards. That would have to be the stretch from the very beginning of Chapter 7 all the way up until Mario departs from Star Haven. Shiver City, an excitable but comfy and isolated Christmassy town full of penguins and foreign customs. Snow Road, a quiet and melancholic route between major settlements in the region. Shiver Mountain, a treacherous hike deceptively hiding a shrine preserved for generations. Crystal Palace, a place forgotten and faded. An isolated, frigid castle, once inhabited but now lonely, whose few residents only hint at the possibilities of times gone by. A quiet burg full of star kids to the very east, forever hoping to become grand stars to grant the wishes of everyone and bring hope and peace. An aurora borealis at the edge of the world. A literal upward winding road in the stars, a cosmic little town in the form of Star Haven. All of these have a tone and aura that inspires wonder, that fill you with that feeling and provoke deep thought about these places just through their solemn beauty. That idea of wishes and hope, and how they relate to defeating Bowser in this story, it's a romantic and idealistic theme, so to conflate it with this spiritual touch, starry night skies, shooting stars, gentle snowy northern villages, is a stroke of genius to make this idea be felt constantly and to accentuate why it's so resonant. This is a world that holds too many mysteries and secrets to count, one that has experienced a vast history, and will experience more of the same in the future. And the star spirits will overlook it all, and you can feel their presence everywhere you go. The fact that this wondrous sort of feeling is mixed with my nostalgia and childhood just cements this game as an eternal influence and joy for me that I'll never forget, one that I intend to revisit again and again in the future. This is a very specific and individualized sort of relationship that I have with this game, so I don't expect many to share my sentiment, but I can only hope that through hearing some of my stream of consciousness thoughts, you were able to gain some semblance of additional value and appreciation for this absolute classic. Many thanks for watching.